Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my June 2022 TBR. Say it with me everybody. It's TBR time! Yay! So this week is the week of the TBR video. So today we've got my standard TBR video, and then on Thursday you guys are going to see my June events TBR. So there are a couple of different BookTube read-alongs, readathons, events that are taking place that I am participating in, and I'm going to give you my TBRs for both of them. So stay tuned for that coming in a couple of days. So how I've been working my TBR, how I worked it in the month of May, is exactly how I'm going to do it again now in June, where I'm only sharing with you guys 12 books. So they are the 12 books that have been written on little pieces of paper and have gone into my adorable little I'm counting knitting mug that I got from Ash over at Ash Hearts Books because she's delightful. So I've got all the papers in here. As my weekly reading vlogs go, I will pull these books out at the beginning of every week, and those are the ones that I will be working on reading. But I want to share all of those books with you. So let me put my glasses on. I had taken them off for the thumbnail because as you can clearly see, there is a glare. I've got the window open, but I need to be able to read. I need to be able to read the stuff on my tablet. So that is why I need my glasses. So as usual, I have these broken down into 3 categories. All of the books, I don't know if I mentioned this back in May, but all of the books on this list or in this jar, whatever, however you want to look at it, my must reads for the month of June or whatever month it is, are always books I have from NetGalley. This is how I am working my way through the ridiculously huge list I have from NetGalley. By at least getting to these 12, but there are always more. I try to double the, not double, I'm doing pretty good if I'm reading 20-ish books a month. My goal would be to do all of them, NetGalley, but that's not the case because of the way these things go. And there's a lot of other books I want to read, but all the books on this list are all from NetGalley. So I'm also going to give you guys like the date that the book was originally published or the book will be published, just in case you're curious. So the first one, the first 4 books are my Backlist TBR. So these are books that have previously been published that I now want to get to. So the very first one here is The Sorority Murder, and this is by Alison Brennan. This is the first book in the Regan Merritt series. It's a mystery thriller, so I don't want to give too much away on this one. This was originally published December 28th, 2021. So it says, a popular sorority girl, an unsolved murder, a campus podcast with chilling repercussions. That's all I'm going to say. I am looking forward to it. Spoiler alert, it is on my list to read this week. By the time you guys see... No, I will not have started it. This is one I'm probably going to start on the 1st of June. So I'm really looking forward to this one. But I already have it in from the library on audio, so I'm really looking forward to it. The next one is Cottage at the Beach by Lee Tobin McLean. This is book number 1 in the off-season series. It is, of course, a contemporary romance novel. Had a publication date of February 25th of 2020, so that'll tell you how long some of these books have been on NetGalley that I have not gotten to yet. So let me read you the back of this book. When an injury forces canine officer Trey Harrison into the sidelines, his only thought is getting back to the police force where he belongs. And he'll do anything to make that happen, even volunteer in a small waterfront community just to please his boss. But no one ever said Trey had to enjoy it. Since the surgery that destroyed her dreams of having children, schoolteacher Erica Rowe has grown more dedicated to her work with at-risk teens. So she doesn't need some cop with a chip on his shoulder putting the program's future in jeopardy. But when Trey finally connects with the students, Erica's heart melts. And when, in a tender moment, he admits he longs to have children, her heart breaks. She's convinced he'd be better off with someone who can give him everything, but she can't seem to shake the hope that maybe love is enough. My only hope with this book is it doesn't go to the place that ticks me off. You see this a lot in contemporary romance where the main character is told, no, I'm sorry, you can't have children, whether it be because of infertility or in the case of this character, something that happened. And then all of a sudden, magically, they get pregnant. Nothing makes me more angry because that's not how science works. As someone who can't, for medical reasons, that is a fantasy. That is something that will never happen. You know, like, I just hope that they do a workaround with it. Adoption's a great alternative. Surrogate's a great alternative. You know, there are alternatives, and I just hope it doesn't go to the place that makes me mad. I don't think it will. I really, really don't think it will. You're not seeing it as much anymore as you used to, but I just had to point that out, that I just, when I read what that one was about, I'm like, please don't go to the place that makes me angry, because it will not make me happy. So the next one, for something completely different, on the list is Electric Idol by Katie Robert. I am so excited for this book. This is book 2 in the Dark Olympus series. I'm labeling it as a fantasy romance erotica. This had a publication date of January 18th, 2022, so it's a very new release. And you guys who've been watching me for a while might be surprised. You might not if you saw that I did read Neon Gods and loved Neon Gods. So I'm really looking forward to this one. He was the most beautiful man alive, and if I wasn't careful, he was going to be my death. These are retellings of Greek myths. I love it. In the ultra-modern city of Olympus, there's always a price to pay. Psyche knew she'd have to face Aphrodite's ire eventually, but she never expected her literal heart to be at stake, or for Aphrodite's gorgeous son to be the one who ordered to strike the killing blow. Eros has no problem shedding blood, but when it comes time to take out his latest target, he can't do it. Confused by his reaction to Psyche, he does the only thing he can think of to keep her safe. He marries her. Psyche vows to make Eros' life a living hell until they find a way out of this mess. But as lines blur and loyalties shift, she realizes he might take her heart after all, and she's not sure she can survive the loss. I can't wait. Can't wait. It's gonna be so good. And I follow her on Instagram, and I saw like the next book's cover. I think it's up to book 4. Book 4 is coming out soon, so I am very excited by this. The next one, this is a much more recent release, but I'm still considering it a backlist because it's not coming out in June. It's already been released. And we have Part of Your World by Abby Jamirez. And I've seen this going all over Bookstagram and stuff like that. Looks really cute. It's a contemporary romance novel, and its publication date was April 19th, 2022. So, after a wild bet, gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, and cuddle with a baby goat, Alexis Montgomery has had her world turned upside down. The cause, Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come, the complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis, and yet their chemistry is undeniable. I love that he's a younger man. You go, girl. While her ultra-wealthy parents want her to carry on the family legacy of world-renowned surgeons, Alexis doesn't need glory or fame. She's fine with being a mere ER doctor. And every minute she spends with Daniel and the tight-knit town where he lives, she's discovering just what's really important. Yet letting their relationship become anything more than a short-term fling would mean turning her back on her family and giving up the opportunity to help thousands of people. Bringing Daniel into her world is impossible, and yet she can't just give up the joy she's found with him either. With so many differences between them, how can Alexis possibly choose between her world and his? That sounds so good. I know why it's getting a huge amount of buzz. People are loving this book, so I cannot wait. It sounds fantastic. So, cheers. Time for some coffee. I'm just looking down here because I am exporting last week's vlog, and it's going to take a while because it's a long one. You guys will have already seen it go up at least. New releases. So these are all books that are coming out in June that I'm super excited about. So the first one we have here is 4 Ways to Wear a Dress by Gillian Libby. This is a contemporary romance, release date June the 7th, 2022. Millie Ward has been fired. Again. She's tired of feeling like a failure, and she refuses to blame her ADHD the way her parents do every time she hits one of life's speed bumps. This time, she's going to let that speed bump actually slow her down, and jumps at the chance to visit her best friend and Instagram influencer, Quincy, in California. And she wouldn't mind if that invitation also involved getting closer to Quincy's brother, Pete. When her best friends, Kate and Bree, help her pack, they discover the little black dress they shared in college. This dress helped them during the first dates, exams, and job interviews, bringing each woman who wore it a bit of luck and confidence. Whatever comes during Millie's next chapter, this dress will help. And that's all I'm going to read. So she goes to California, it sounds like. It's like this dress, kind of like an adult version of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, I'm thinking. I don't know. But I am very excited about this book. It looks super, super cute, and I cannot wait. It's like the perfect summer read. Like, let's look at that cover just for a second. Next up, for something else different, we have A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons by Categorically. This is a historical fiction mystery novel, also being released June the 7th, 2022. London, 1923. Newly minted research assistant Saffron Everleigh attends a dinner party for the University College of London. When she expects to engage in conversation about the university's large expedition to the Amazon, she doesn't expect Miss Henry, one of the professor's wives, to drop to the floor, poisoned by an unknown toxin. Dr. Maxwell, Saffron's mentor, is the main suspect, having had an explosive argument with Dr. Henry a few days prior. As evidence mounts against Dr. Maxwell and the expedition's departure draws nearer, Saffron realizes if she wants her mentor's name cleared, she'll have to do it herself. Joined by Alexander Ashton, a fellow researcher, Saffron uses her knowledge of botany as she explores steamy greenhouses, dark gardens, and deadly poisons. Will she be able to uncover the truth, or will her investigation land her on the murderer's list? That sounds so good. The cover looks delightful. I cannot wait to get to this one. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So the next one is a 2-in-1. So Jen McKinley, who I am a big fan of, I've read her contemporary romance. She also writes a lot of cozy mysteries, but these books are contemporary, and these are very short. They come in at under 100 pages each. So I'm going to be reading both of them together, like the first one and then the second one. So we have Royal Valentine by Jen McKinley and The Attraction Distraction by Jen McKinley, books 1 and 2 in the Museum of Literature Romance. And book 1, The Royal Valentine, came out January 4th, and The Attraction Distraction is coming out on June the 7th. So I'm just going to read a little bit of Royal Valentine here. Molly Graham doesn't believe in love at first sight or fairy tales. She's been burned too many times before. When her best friend Brianna challenges her to aim high and go for men who are out of her league, Molly can't imagine a worse way to spend Valentine's Day. When she stumbles across a very handsome British professor, Albert George, seeking refuge in her office during the Museum of Literature's Valentine's Day Gala for the opening of their Austin exhibit, Molly can't help but be drawn to the fellow introverted academic. Together they ghost out of the event and embark upon a month-long love affair. That's all I'm going to read. It sounds really cute. Like I said, it's super, super short, coming in at like 100 pages. And same with the other book. So The Attraction Distraction. There is nothing Sarah Novak loves more than a literary adventure. When the director of the Museum of Literature sends Sarah to an uninhabited island in the Aegean Sea to look for a rare artifact from ancient Greece, Sarah, an expert on the classics, is all in. One problem: 9 other scholars are also on the hunt for the artifact, one of whom is Irishman Liam Maguire, Sarah's ex and the man she beat out for the curator position at the museum 7 years ago. Liam wants to form an alliance, but Sarah refuses. He broke her heart once before, and she's not giving him the chance to do it again. I mean, they just sound so cute. So, I have both of them written on one piece of paper in the jar. If I pull it, I will read them back to back. So, that's my plan. Next up, The Woman in the Library, by Sorari Gentile, I believe is how you pronounce the author's name. This is a mystery thriller, also comes out, wait for it, June the 7th. June the 7th is going to be a huge publishing day, I have this feeling. The ornate reading room at the Boston Public Library is quiet, until the tranquility is shattered by a woman's terrified scream. Security guards take charge immediately, instructing everyone inside to stay put until the threat is identified and contained. While they wait for the all-clear, 4 strangers who happen to be sitting at the same table pass the time in conversation and friendships are struck. Each has his or her own reasons for being in the reading room that morning, and it just happens that one is a murderer. So it's a closed door like, mystery. I'm kind of obsessed. It sounds like this is something that Agatha Christie would write, and I am really, really, really excited about it. It looks really good. Next up, we have The Hotel Nantucket by Elaine Hilderbrand. This is a women's fiction novel, and it comes out, wait for it, no, not June 7th, it comes out June 14th. After a tragic fire in 1922 that killed 19-year-old chambermaid Grace Hadley, the Hotel Nantucket descended from the Gilded Age gem to a mediocre, budget-friendly lodge to inevitably an abandoned eyesore, until it's purchased and renovated top to bottom by London billionaire Xavier Darling. Xavier hires Nantucket sweetheart Lisbeth Keaton as his general manager, and Lisbeth, in turn, pulls together a charismatic if inexperienced staff who share the vision of turning the fate of the hotel around. They face challenges in getting along with one another, in overcoming the hotel's bad reputation, and in surviving the mostly harmless shenanigans of Grace Hadley herself, who won't stop haunting the hotel until her murder is acknowledged. I love the way that sounds. It looks so good. It looks so good. And last for the new releases, I've only got 3 more books, you guys. Last for the new releases, I have to say that out of all the ones I have for the month of June, this is the one I am the most looking forward to. Because if you guys have been watching me for any length of time, you know that this author is a auto-buy author for me. I love her books. Absolutely delightful. The cover to this book just makes me all kinds of happy. We have Out of the Clear Blue Sky by Kristen Higgins. Women's fiction being released June the 7th, 2022. Lily Silva knew life as an empty nester would be hard after her only child left for college. But when her husband abruptly dumps her for another woman, just as her son leaves, her world comes crashing down. Besides the fact that this announcement is a complete surprise, to say the least, what shocks Lily most of all is that she isn't heartbroken. She's furious. Lily has loved her life on Cape Cod, but as mother, wife, and nurse midwife, she's used to caring for other people, not taking care of herself. Now, alone for the first time in her life, she finds herself going a little rogue. Is it over the top to crash her ex-husband's wedding? Dressed like the angel of death? Sure. Should she release a skunk into his perfect new home? Probably not. But it sure beats staying home and moping. I love this character already. She finds an unexpected ally in her glamorous sister, with whom she's had a tense relationship all these years. After an unexpected babysitter in all people, Ben Howell, the driver in a car accident that nearly killed Lily 20 years ago. Then there's Ophelia, her ex-husband's oddly lost niece, who could really use a friend. So it sounds like you're going to get a whole bunch of these other characters, but I love Lily already, and I think she sounds delightful, and this one sounds so good. So, last 2 books. We have my TBR bingo picks. So I did my video last week. It was like under 2 minutes long, giving you guys the numbers for the month of June. So the 2 numbers that were picked, I put them corresponding to the numbers on my TBR bingo card. I did realize, though, that I think I messed up on my TBR bingo card because the whole point of that card was books that were released in 2021 that I didn't get to yet. The first pick, though, here came out in 2020, so clearly I wasn't paying attention. But it's fine. It's fine. The bingo card's made up. The book has been picked. I'm going to read it anyway. So the first book I have here is The Gentleman and the Thief by Sarah M. Eden. This is book 2 in the Dread Penny Society series. This is a historical fiction, romance, mystery. I love these books. This came out on November the 3rd, of 2020. And like I said, I have read book number 1. It was really delightful. London, 1865. From the moment Hollis Darby meets Anna Newport, he's smitten. Even though he's from a wealthy established family and she isn't, he wishes he could have a life with her by his side. But Hollis has a secret. The deep coffers that have kept his family afloat for generations are bare. So he supports himself by writing penny dreadfuls under a pseudonym. If not for the income from his novels, he would be broke. Anna Newport also has a secret. Though she once had a place in society thanks to her father's successful business, bankruptcy and scandal reduced his fortune to nothing more than a crumbling townhouse. So Anna teaches music during the day, and at night she assumes the identity of the Phantom Fox. She breaks into the homes of the wealthy to reclaim trinkets and treasures she feels were unjustly stolen from her family when they were struggling. So then these two characters are going to meet. Come on, tell me that does not sound delightful. A woman cat burglar in London in 1865 and a guy who writes those penny dreadfuls? Yes, please. I think that this would also be labeled as I'm not a huge fan of this term, a proper romance. So these are clean, closed door, nothing actually ends up happening other than probably some hand holding. That's like the extent of the romance portion of it. And last but not least on this list, I'm so excited about all of these books, you guys. Her Darkest Lies by J.T. Ellison. I am a big, big fan of J.T. Ellison. This is a mystery thriller. Again, I do not want to read too much about this book because it's a mystery thriller. Jutting from sparkling turquoise water off the Italian coast, Isle Isola is an idyllic setting for a wedding. In the majestic cliff-top villa owned by the wealthy Compton family, up-and-coming artist Claire Hunter will marry handsome, charming Jake Compton, surrounded by close family, intimate friends, and a host of dark secrets. And that's all I'm going to read about it. That's all I'm going to read. Because I don't want to spoil myself. I don't want to spoil you guys if you want to read it. I can't wait to read that one. It looks really, really good. But anyway, guys, that's my must-read TBR for the month of June. If I can get through all of those books, I'll consider it a win. So I'm really, really excited about all of them. Let me know, have you guys read any of them? Are you excited about any of the new releases that are coming out? What books do you guys have on your June TBR? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.